Welcome to Kidmissing TV. I'm your host Angelina Wilson, and this is our very first video for 2025. So, this is the case of the missing Melvindale, Michigan trio. They disappeared on October 15, 1937. It was a man and two women. Okay, the people missing were Thomas Lorimer, 24, Mrs. Artie Mabey, 42, and Mrs. Margaret Redden, Reddon, 35. They were all at a cafe called the Hollywood Cafe. At about 1 a.m., they all left in Lorimer's car and were never seen again. Now, at first, and they returned to the cafe at 3 a.m. And they were actually seen by two officers, Officer Bringleson and Officer Anderson. The officers pulled up. They had a brief conversation, and they left. They drove on Oakwood toward Dearborn, Michigan. The officers wrote down the license plate. Just to tell you a little bit about them, Margaret Redden was born in Buffalo, New York, and came to Detroit with her parents in 1915 and married James Redden in Detroit in 1925. And she worked at a real estate agent as a secretary. They were separated at the time of the disappearances, and they were childless. Might have been part of the reason they were separated. Just my own little editorial. Artie Carson Mabey was the oldest of the three. She was from Clearwater, Iowa, and had met and married Sylvester Mabey in Butte, Montana in 1917. The couple moved first to Detroit and then to Melvindale in 1925. They had no children. Artie Mabey and Margaret Redden knew each other well, as Redden worked for Sylvester Realty, and Mabey was the secretary for the city clerk's office from 1927 to 1934. Thomas Lorimer was born in Scotland in 1913 and immigrated with his family to Quebec, Canada in 1928. He married Evelyn Fleming in about 1934 in Canada and had one child before settling in Melvindale in 1936. He worked at the American Malting Company in Detroit with his father and brother. He also had purchased a new 1937 Oldsmobile a few months earlier. And he knew Margaret because he made his payments at the business she worked for. Why would you be making your car payments at a realty office? But anyway. News reports also stated that the fathers of Margaret and Artie had both disappeared without a trace previously. That's weird. Sylvester Mabee did offer a $500 reward for the information leading to the safe return of his wife. That's a massive amount of money for 1937. Thomas Lorimer's daughter, Shirley Ann, turned 3 years old on January 1st, 1938. The birthday present she wanted most was her daddy. Her birthday presents, her Christmas presents, they didn't matter to her. In June of 1938, Official Detective magazine, those were all the rave back then, offered another $500 prize for real evidence if murder was established in the case. And the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office opened an investigation. In September-November 1938, investigators interviewed prisoner Smokey Joe Anderson at the Arkansas State Prison after he said he'd killed them. And the case was written about in True Detective magazine in their April 1940 issue. They did arrest James Redden at one point, but they let him go because they couldn't say he did anything to them. And Sylvester Mabee got a divorce from his wife in 1942, remarried, and sadly died in 1955 after a long illness. And unfortunately, Shirley Ann died, the daughter of the man, in 1967 at the young age of 32. Now, I thought they found the car. To me, it almost seems like they drove into a lake, but I thought they found the car. Okay. Yeah. Some people think they're in the Detroit River or the Rogue River. Because I guess the car wasn't found. I thought I saw somewhere the car was found. But anyway. You gotta remember I wrote a whole bunch of cases, so may have mixed up with another one. But that seems the most likely scenario to me. What do you think? Yeah, I thought we would start off with a banger. I don't know whether there's going to be a poster or not because I don't know whether there are pictures. So I'll have to find that out. So I will see you again on Friday as we begin to roll through January. Again, there's no theme for January. February is 50s February. So there is a theme for February. And then March, April. There's themes for several months. So I hope you will continue to join us, and please subscribe here in the new year. We're trying to get up to 500. We're very close, guys. My ultimate goal for the year is to get to 1,000 by my birthday. But if I got to 500 by St. Patrick's Day, I'd be very happy. But remember, hashtag Kidmissing, hashtag Road to 1K. Bye, guys.